Best in Class.
Hello, I am Peter Wong 興桂. You are listening to Jimmy Lam on RTHK 3.
Welcome to another weekly dose of Best in Class. No offense to the other guests, but today is the one I'm mostly looking forward to. He is a legend, a hero. He is a football manager, a football commentator, and also an entertainer, Mr. Peter Wong. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Jimmy. Thank you. And I'm flattered. Actually, I'm just an ordinary person having two dream jobs, like first, a professional football coach, and then later become a full-time sports commentator, both in television and radio.
After you graduated at University of California, you started your career as a physical education teacher, PE teacher in a
as
local
well as a
secondary
football
school.
coach in secondary school in Hong Kong, right?
Yeah, and then you build your own football team from scratch and turn them into a top team, winning a lot of tournaments. So what do you think of the football development in Hong Kong? Shall we have more PE lessons in school for football?
I tell you, the Hong Kong football development in the youth, in the child, in the young men's level has been very good. They have boys training from boys and girls even from 4 years old till they become a youth soccer player or football player. So actually, both in school, in primary school, secondary school, university, and also different real football academy, they had been doing quite a good job. Except that when it goes to a professional level, then it's a little bit harder.
I've read a lot of information about you on the internet, but it doesn't really say what position you play as a football player. So could you reveal to us what is your best position? Or are you a utility player? You play fullback and defensive midfielder?
When I was young, when I first get into St. Joseph's College as a Form 1 student, one of the brother who is also a coach, Brother Peter, he said, in my team, I can let you start to be a regular, but I don't have a left wing. So can you play, left wing? And during that time, a left wing doesn't have to do too many defensive work. But now, left side player have to do both defense and attacking. And when it attack, it's like a wing. When it defense, go back to the backfield to a fullback or to the midfield to help out in defense. So I was so keen to be a player, to be a school representative, to play in the school football. Of course, I say yes, I play. And so, starting from those moments, in the old, days, for a C grade and B grade, I developed my left foot, even though I'm born more or less a right-footed player.
And Peter, football players can get injured very easily. Did you have injury before, and how did you overcome the fear and keep on playing?
Injuries is part of the game. You cannot avoid it. But what happened is some players are more agile, and also some players are a little bit wiser, and to avoid injuries. Plus, if a coach could allow players have more rest, and also always tell players that at which moment that they should be a little bit careful of the opponent, because some opponents really come and kick you.
Yeah,
so if
physical.
our opponents are really dirty, you must play touch and go football. That means the ball comes to you already know where is your teammate, and then pass. And then touch and go, then if they kick you, they might get red card.
And now moving on to your commentator career. So how do you usually prepare ahead of a football match as a commentator? Do you print out a lot of facts, read a lot of information?
No need to print it out. But what happened is first, I must have a lot of rest. Secondly, on the day of the match of my commentary, I will, after rest or before rest, I will have a good, jogging, get a good sweat, exercise myself, so that I know myself is in top shape. especially, when you have to deal with like a
Early
World
morning,
Cup,
right?
that it's a 32 days endurance kind of work. So you must pace yourself, knowing that there's a lot of things that you cannot do during those times, like, avoid socializing much, no
Avoid some food.
and then no necessary excess talking.
Yeah.
Save
Do you
your
drink
voice.
a lot of honey?
No,
during
very
those
funny.
days?
I was
keep
starting
your
my full-time commentary job for ESPN in America. So in America, in the canteen or near the studio, there's nothing but there's only coffee. And even American coffee is very light. I still thought, I'm going to drink this. I
Before
better
a
add
match,
some water into it. So, inadvertently, accidentally, I find out this kind of coffee plus a lot of hot water, the proportion which is about 40% coffee and 60% hot water, becomes my panacea in talking. I can really talk smoothly for 2 hours, which is one match, with just 1 cup of half, those diluted coffee. So if I have to talk 2 games, in a row, then I have to have a bigger cup of coffee, half coffee.
Oh, okay.
But no sugar, no milk,
No
okay?
sugar. Okay. And could you share with us one of the most memorable moments you have had when you were commentating on air?
Wow, this is a moment I never forget because it built up my reputation, and also it enhanced my later other networks or other channels or newspaper or even radio networks, plus some advertising agency. They want me to do the same thing. Okay, what happened was in the last FA Cup that Liverpool won when they beat West Ham.
Oh,
in the I think it's
was
more
it
than
3-2 by
3-2, right?
Steven
I
Gerrard?
think it's right. Steven Gerrard.
Scored the last
That was many years ago when Benitez was still coaching in Liverpool. And then I did not get assigned to do the live match, the 2 hour plus, overtime plus penalty match, because I was assigned to do the Champions League final. So
it happened on the same time?
We have 4 commentators. So
you have to take turns.
2 of them do one final and 2 of them do another final. So I do the Champions League. I don't get to do the Liverpool FA Cup West Ham final, but I was assigned to do the next day's the full hour highlight show. Actually, it's only one game. So from
it's 1 hour.
From a full game of penalty shootout plus overtime, like a 2.5 hours a game, they cut it into 1 hour. And then I thought, you just give me the lineup. I'm going to treat it as a real life game because I'm the only one that assigned to do it. So I did it with passion, and also because Stevie G, the fantastic captain of Liverpool, was playing so well and so unreal that I got all turned on. I was galvanized by his fantastic last minute heroic plays. So he scored 2 goals, and then he played brilliantly. And then at the stroke of the death, almost the end of the game, he equalized so that the Liverpool eventually won. So I got all turned on, and then inadvertently again, all the moments that I hear top commentators around the world, the English commentators, how they describe a brilliant plays from the players. All those, ideas in my head, they just come at once. And so I was, telling people that, Steven Gerrard, Stevie G was playing like a magician, like pulling, another rabbit at his head, even when you strip him down, right? I was excited like, a live game, like I was a Liverpool fan, but actually I'm neutral. I'm not rooting for any particular team at that moment,
Yeah, as a commentator, you cannot really say that which team you support.
I think better not, but
Better not.
a lot of commentators are, diehard fan to a certain team. But for me, I have learned by many mentors, better, more famous
Including
commentators
Martin
like
Tyler.
Martin Tyler, like Vin Scully of the Los Angeles Dodgers. They are very neutral. They are very mild, but they are very informative and they are very intelligent. And so they taught me a lot. So I learned a lot from them, and that's why I become a different style of commentator compared to those in locally. But there's different style. I couldn't say which style is good, but at least what happened is like I learned from some great commentators.
I have to say, I love your style.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Peter, I must say, you always make us very jealous when you talk about you having breakfast with the English Premier League players or managers in the hotel when they came to Singapore back then.
Right. When they came to Malaysia for the first Asian Challenge Cup 2003, what happened is like I get up very early, about 6 o'clock. So I went down to have breakfast. And luckily, during that time, and also in Malaysia, they're not so well, taken care of like the Hong Kong hotel.
That they don't have the security guards.
Each team have their own room to eat breakfast. So, Craig Bellamy and a couple of the Newcastle players went down to have breakfast at the same place. And it was so early that I was very polite, and I go and say hello, and then we become friends, and then I gave him a South China shirt, and then he gave me a real life Newcastle white and black jerseys that after the match against Chelsea, he pulled it out of his body and gave it to me, Craig Bellamy. And then he told me how he took care of his knee in Colorado by a knee specialist. And then I got to know, at the same time, I got to know, Martin Tyler. First, he was my idol. Then he becomes my friend and a dear friend, and also as well as a mentor. Plus, we play football together whenever he comes to Hong Kong.
And Peter, your life is all about football. If it was not football, what would you have been doing?
Well, actually, now that I'm 70 years old, I think if I don't do any more commentating, I would be, either retire or semi-retire. Then I still do the being an ambassador of the Hong Kong football development, like youth teams or professional team. At this moment, I am the head ambassador and head developer of Tsuen Wan district for developing football. I am the senior counselor or advisor for the Eastern Professional Football Team in the Hong Kong Premier League, and also
Which started in September.
Right, started yesterday. Right,
on Friday.
Friday, and then also I am Chelsea Football School Hong Kong's advisor. So I did quite a bit of ambassador work. And at this moment, I'm still pushing a program which I am the main engineer, is we call from 4-year-old to 11-year-old boys and girls in Tsuen Wan district. It's called Playing Football Together with Learning English. It's a 6-month course, twice a month, that the boys and the players and the boys and girls and their parents can have the time to know basic football as well as basic correct English.
Oh, okay. That's a good combination, football and English. And before I let you go, Peter, what advice would you give to our listeners on how to live extraordinary life like yourself?
There are 3 mottos that I learned from many icons or mentors. Number 1, passion. you got to have passion in order to succeed in your business. You can't always say that, I got pressure from work, this and that. You have to treat it as a challenge.
Part of it.
And then number 2 is hard work. Because if you don't work hard, sometimes even luck doesn't come to you, right? You can, wait and hope, God or somebody up there throw some good lucks to you, okay? Number 3 is, you gotta be humble. Because, like Martin Tyner said, Johnny Wooden said, we are very lucky. Even, there's a best stage actress in Hong Kong, Perry Jiu Woon. She's a top, stage actress, can dance, can sing, and can act. And she told me just last week, she is so lucky to be in the kind of professional that she loves, she know, and she enjoy. So, what me and her and some other people being able to do the job that we enjoy and love and know how with passion, we are lucky fellows. So we have to be humble because a big head always, take you down.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us today, Peter. So could you throw us your catchphrase before we play your chosen song by Nat King Cole and Natalie Cole?
When the going gets tough, the toughs get going.
Unforgettable.